worked. Did it work? Am I live? I think I'm live. Hey, there's one person here. Hello, one person. I can't tell nothing. Can't tell nothing. Um, yeah, somebody say something. Let's see if I'm not getting any text messages, any little zingies. Oh, there they are. Hey, Martin. There we go. I got some. What's going on? Welcome. Welcome. All right. Now I can't see anything. You have to deal with the old man. All right. So, hey, what do you think of that? Growing out the mustache. Does it make me look old? Justin, how you doing, man? Yeah, I thought it would be really cool to grow this thing out, and I don't know. It's getting more annoying the longer it's getting. Autumn, hello, welcome to the live stream. So, sweet stash and a tad older. All right, well, I guess you can't have one without the other. But I figured I'd grow it long enough, grow it out to where I could really get some curl into it, get a couple of pictures, and then it's gone because it really is. It's annoying. I woke up the other morning with my mustache in my mouth. That was gross. All right, can everybody hear me? This is only my second live stream, so I don't know all the ins and outs of streaming and thising and thating. But we're all getting older. Yep. Yes, we are. All right, cool, Justin. So I didn't have anything planned. I figured I'd just do a question and answer kind of thing. I'm trying to figure this out as I go with the live streaming and whatever you guys want. I'm not. Um, what do I want to say? I don't plan my videos out. I know a lot of people have storyboards and here we're gonna do this video on this day and that video on that day and this is how we're gonna go um, that's not me. If I'm doing something that I think everybody will be interested in, I'll take the camera out there and start doing it. So the question and answer kind of thing was just sort of what I was thinking too. So I didn't really have any plans for this. So if you got questions, fire away. I will say, whoops, sorry. I will say I just finished up a handful of these little Ulu thingies, and I posted them on a Facebook page. And some guy from Canada was giving me flack, saying I'm not allowed to sell them in Canada because that is not an Ulu by Canadian law, and I have no idea. I don't know. And we started getting into this debate about. Oops, sorry. Still saying you need stash wax. There's a little bit of wax on it. I actually made something with some beeswax. I'm one of those, I hate buying stuff if I can make it myself, and so I tried making some. But no, so the guy was giving me flack saying that I wasn't allowed to sell these in Canada, and that I wasn't even allowed to call them an Ulu. And we got into this, I want to say an argument, but we got into a bit of a debate about whether I was or wasn't, or stuff like that. So I don't know. If anyone lives in Canada, if you can tell me if I'm allowed to sell them there, I just sell them. I don't know. Martin asked, what did you ask there, Martin? You were up there. Are you planning on going full time bladesmithing or blacksmithing? I don't know if I am or not. Right this second, no. I dig my job at the radio station. Now the thing with the radio station is it just got. I don't like my chin being cut off. Maybe I'll just sit up higher. The thing about the radio station is it just got sold or is in the process of being sold. It's actually a long process that radio stations have to go through with the FCC, so it takes quite a while. So I've been working a year and a half or so without knowing what's what's going on with that. So when the new owners finally get in and take over, and we just start discussing my contract, it may persuade me one way or the other what to do. But as of right now, I like the way it works. I like working at the radio station, and like coming home and being able to forge when I want to forge, and the two seem to work real well together. If that changes, well, it changes. Let's see, Autumn. What are your thoughts on a coal forge versus a propane forge? Autumn, I don't get into the whole debate of what's better, what's worse. I've always said use what you have available that works for you. If you can get propane affordably where you live, propane forge is great. If you can get bituminous coal, get bituminous coal. If you can only get anthracite, like I can get anthracite. If you can only use charcoal, use charcoal. It doesn't matter to me as long as it gets the steel hot enough to do what you want to do with it. If you're going to forge weld, then you need to get something that will get hot enough to get to forge welding temperatures. If you're just if you're just doing bottle openers or something and you're never going to forge weld, you don't need to get it that hot. So certain things will come into play, certain designs will go into play. Let's see. So yeah, I don't get into the whole debate. Find something that works for you in your area, what fuel is available, and go with it. What did you use for bevels before you built a belt grinder? Justin asks. Justin, I used files and sandpaper. Did a ton of hand sanding. The first belt sander I had, I quickly got away from that, and I got a small, it's actually a little attachment, about that big, if that shows on the camera. It goes on the side of a grinder. So on my grinder that I use for polishing, on one side I've got the polishing wheel that I can put the buffing compound on. On the other side is like this little mini, it's a 2 by 36 belt grinder kind of thing. I quickly upgraded to that from using the files because files suck, man. So yeah, that was my first one, and oops, sorry. Come on. That was my first one, and it's the one I'm using the most. Why can't I get those chats to stay up when I want them? Anders, can I order a Damascus Bowie to Sweden from you? Absolutely, you can. Just get a hold of me off the Forge chat. You can get a hold of me through Facebook. I think you can send a private message through YouTube. So just get a hold of me. We'll figure it out. Martin, when are you going on FIF? Not allowed to talk about it, man. Let's just say I'm in the process of trying to get on the show. And I signed some paperwork saying I wouldn't talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. If I do make it on, you guys will know. I will make sure you know when the show is, all right? Let's see, any other questions? Anyone from Canada here? Anyone joining from Canada? Oh, Flash, I didn't realize that was you. Flash TV. There you go. You wanna watch a channel of a guy just Flash creative, I guess is the way to say it. Not into blacksmithing, but man, knows how to build some stuff. So that's really cool. And did I see you were sick there, Flash? If you're still hanging out. He doesn't live far from me. Here's Wikipedia's definition of an ulu in Canada. The blade more often is attached to the handle by a single stem in the center. Okay, so maybe it's not an ulu in Canada. Doesn't matter to me. I don't know. Much like the coal versus propane forge, I don't like to get into the debate of is that an ulu or isn't it an ulu. I call it an ulu herb chopper. One of his arguments that he made to me was, you wouldn't call a Bowie a sax. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Would you? And I said, yeah, absolutely. If I made a Bowie inspired sax or a sax inspired Bowie, I absolutely would call it a Bowie slash sax or something along those lines. That blade shape to me is an Ulu blade shape. That handle to me is the herb chopper, the basic design that I got from Chandler Dickinson that he got from someone else. I mean, it's been around forever. It's just kind of a basic herb chopping handle design. So I would absolutely call that an herb chopper. And if I built a Bowie sax hybrid, I would call it a Bowie sax without question. Let's see, Martin. Yep, I agree. I hand file now, and it not only sucks, but it takes a long freaking time as well. Yeah, it does, and that's why I got away from it long before I ever thought about trying to sell anything. It was my hands hurt, man. I didn't want to take the time filing bevels if there was a quicker, more efficient way. I've seen a lot of knives where people have used angle grinders with flap wheels and things to do a really good job. I'm not really good enough at it. I struggle with the angle grinder. I'm not good enough at it, I guess. Good afternoon. More on Autumn Lee's question of coal versus propane cost differences between coal and a gas forge. In my area, the cost difference between cheapest would obviously be if I made my own charcoal. I don't have a setup to do that. I don't have enough property to get the trees, and my backyard is where my kids play, and so I try not to do a whole lot of burning back there. So homemade charcoal would obviously be the most cost efficient, I would think. Next to that is the anthracite coal that I use. It's about $6 a bag for a 40-pound bag, and one 40-pound bag will last me a good 8 to 10 hours of forge time. So, and that's burning it hot at forge welding temperatures. If I keep the fire controlled better, it'll last even longer than that. For propane, I see. I don't know the difference between bituminous and propane in my area, because getting bituminous here to this part of Michigan is exceedingly expensive. I know a lot of smiths who use it in this area. I don't know why. I mean, it's just like, learn how to use something else. The bituminous coal is just incredible. Yeah, it's expensive to get it shipped in, and no one around here sells it. So that's, I don't know what the cost difference would be between propane and bituminous coal, except I know I can run down the street and get propane. That's why I built a propane forge, just because I know I can get it easy, and it's real easy to fire up, especially when you just want to do a quick heat treat on something, or I don't want to wait to get the fire going in the coal forge or whatever. The propane's great. The way I've been doing it, my blades is using an angle grinder to make my bevels. It doesn't suck as bad as the file jig, but I have a hard time keeping the bevels even. Yeah, and that's what I think I would have a hard time keeping the bevels even there. Flash, second round of leukemia. Doctors talk not good. Going into months in for new chemo. Might not come home. Dude, don't talk like that. As long as I've known you, you've been a fighter. Don't quit fighting now, man. We'll pray for you, obviously, but I don't want to hear no more talk like that. I just got on. What belt grinder do you use? I built one. I've got a video. Well, it's not current anymore, is it? Because I redesigned it. I'll have to do another one. I've got a video. If you go back and search my videos of what I built, I bought the wheels on eBay for about $100. I got a 4 or 5 inch drive wheel, the beveled tracking wheel, and then 2 idler wheels, and they're all aluminum. That was the most I spent. You don't have to. I know Dave McConnell. I'll bring him up again. I was just using his grinder. It worked great, actually, better than mine. He uses skateboard wheels, and I think his drive wheel he turned himself on a lathe. It was just made out of wood, and he may have bought the tracking wheel. I don't remember what he had for a tracking wheel, but that may have been his only expense in wheels Besides the skateboard wheels, which, obviously cost a few bucks, but they're probably a little cheaper than $100. Let's see. I'm in the process of building a 2x72s. Any ideas on the build? You can go find that video I did, Martin. Other than that, just start watching as many videos as you can. I made it up as I went along. Otherwise, I would have made a video of it while I was doing it. But I didn't have any plans. Much like everything else I do in life, I just said, let's start, and I did. I get coal for about 40 cents a pound. See, that's a really good price, 40 cents a pound. I can't get it that cheap here. What's up, Jason? I got out of the forge, made my first bottle opener, and it's success. Shepherd's Forge. Excellent, man. Well, cool. Are you doing the thing? Are you having the camera follow you around while you're doing live stuff? Or not live stuff, but I mean, are you taking the camera into the forge, showing your process and stuff? Because that would be really interesting. Shepherd's Forge, if you go and you watch his videos, really passionate about the art, which is great, and hasn't done a whole lot of how-to videos. And maybe you're not ready to do how-to. I guess I'm not really doing how-to videos, maybe a little bit on the Damascus stuff, but it's more, I feel like making something, and I'll run the camera while I'm doing it, and I encourage everybody to do that. The more people on here, how I learn anyways, is the more people on here that are willing to do, to film and do things, on YouTube, to show their mistakes, to show the successes, to show their technique, helps, whether it's in a learning process or not, just to see how other people are doing it. That's what helps me. That's what I really dig about Chandler, is Chandler just kind of does it, and he films it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, he puts the video up anyways, and we all learn a little something from it. So I appreciate everyone that will do that. So if you're smithing and you've got a YouTube channel and you've got a camera, I say go for it. Put some videos up, and don't let the stupid. You're gonna get a lot of haters out there. The seasoned blacksmiths are gonna come along and say, you can't do that. You can't show them how to do that without using improper language. Screw them. Alright, I love my propane forge. I just built a great ribbon burner, and it is really fantastic, says Martin. I've heard fantastic things about ribbon burners. I was not in a position where I could build one when I put my propane forge together, but that's absolutely something I'd think about when I build my bigger one. Just found out about this channel, says Ed Gray Wolf. Let's go with Ed Gray Wolf. Ed, glad to have you on board, man. More prayers for Flash. Awesome. Thank you. Hello from Pennsylvania. Hello, Randy. Thanks, everyone. HOJ knows I'll fight till my legs quit a kicking. Absolutely, man. And so no more talk like I won't be coming home. You keep fighting, all right, brother? I've been doing lots of research on grinders, and I'm sort of leaning on a KMG clone. Yeah, I guess if I was going to call my grinder anything, I would call it a KMG clone type of grinder. I don't know. I watched so many videos of so many people building them, and then I just got tired of watching videos and said, I'm just going to do it. I took a few measurements just to kind of, because, it's a 2x72, so you got to make sure your wheels fit within that, within that 72-inch frame. But other than that, it was just, I just started cutting and welding and doing what I could to get it together. It took about 2 weeks, and maybe if I had planned it out better and prepared better, I'd cut a piece of steel, measure it, cut it, set it down, and think to myself, okay, well, now the frame, I need 2 legs. So I'd measure out those, cut them, weld those together. There, I've got a thing standing up now. All right, what else do I need? Well, I need something to stick up there that the tracking wheel comes. Okay, so, it was just a hodgepodge. There was no plan. I suggest not doing it that way. Probably planning something out and writing it down would be good. Jared says, I hate those seasoned blacksmiths. Hate is a strong word, Jared. I don't hate them. I get what they're saying, but that's not me. I've always been I hate semantics. I hate people's, are you a bladesmith? Are you a blacksmith? I hate the debate. Do you prefer bituminous coal or anthracite coal? I hate the debate. Um, oh, are you a Republican or a Democrat? I hate the debate. I am what I am. Your politics may agree with me. They may not agree with me. Doesn't matter. We're both going to get up in the morning, go to work, and do our best to support our families. So the whole debate of seasoned blacksmith, this is the right way, that's the right way, this is the wrong way. I hate the debate. I don't hate the blacksmiths. I mean, they're passionate about what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm passionate about the radio business. I'm passionate about the knives I make, but I'm not gonna. If someone comes to me and says, "Well, I make knives this way," I'm gonna say, "Wow, teach me how you do it," because I'd love to get that experience. Not, you're doing it wrong, and blah blah blah. Have you tried using saw blades to make any Damascus, or is it feasible? Old James asks. So, yes, I have used bandsaw blades. I use them quite a bit. Actually, I lost my supplier. Dang it! That just occurred to me. There was a shop in town that did a lot of imported woods and things like that, and they milled them right on site. And through the radio station, I know them because they advertised, and I could get their old worn out bandsaw blades for like $1. The guy would charge me, so I'd go give $10 and walk out with a big box of bandsaw blades. And I've got about 4 left, and they closed down, so I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Wow. Okay. But yes, I will use the bandsaw blades in place of the 15N20. Bandsaw blades are generally, from what I've read, 15N20 or L6, which is a close cousin of the 15N20, and both of those are nickel steels and will resist the etch, and you'll get um, that what do I want to say, contrast in the steel. Chandler just did that one where he did 640 layers or something, and was wondering why he wasn't getting the contrast in the steel. Even though he used 2 separate bandsaw blades, they're both the same steel. They're both the nickel steel, and he needs to add a carbon steel into it, so one gets dark, one stays light, and that's how you get the contrast. And I've told him that. I know he's busy and doesn't always have a chance to read the comments, but that's why you want to use 2 different steels. If you want a pattern to really pop on your steel, you need to use contrasting steels, because that's the pattern you're seeing. Shepherd's Forge. I'm doing my best to do so. Okay, awesome. Keep it up, man. I'm telling you, the more you can do it, the more you can get a camera out in your forge and just show what you're doing. You are a passionate smith, my friend, and that passion will come through in your videos. I promise you, and they will be fantastic. So just do it. More for old James. Often the shape of an ulu will depend on the region it comes from. Just finished making my first. Well, awesome. That's good to know. So if you're just joining and you missed the discussion, I got yelled at from a Canadian for calling this an ulu herb chopper. Now, here's the thing about this one is this design came from a native Alaskan whose grandfather was an Inuit, and he's the one who came to me and said, I see you make these herb choppers, and I want the blade to do this, and yada, yada. And he's the one who actually designed this, and I made him one, and ever since then, they've just been selling. I made him the one. He used it for a while, said I want like 6 more for my family back in Alaska, and he sent them back as Christmas presents. And I put some pictures up on Facebook, and they started selling, and now it's all I make. I don't even make the other, flatter herb choppers anymore. It's all these, because they sell. I've got like 3 more to make now. Today I've got to go out and make them. What editing software do you use? Oh, so anyways, the Canadian debate, I was asking the question. The reason those are coming is because the guy in Canada was saying I'm not allowed to call that an ulu. And I was saying, well, a guy with Inuit descent, his father was 100% Inuit from Alaska. I think he's telling me it's an ulu. I'm allowed to call it an ulu. Maybe I'm wrong. What editing software do you use? I use the paid version of VSDC, VCDS. I don't know. They've got a free version and a paid version. The paid version works a little better. It goes a little faster. It unlocks just a couple more things you can do with it, but it's like $20 a year. You pay it once, and you're good to go for a year, and they keep you updated when they put out new versions. So I just use that one. Any of them will work. I used Windows Movie Maker for a long time when I was doing the Jeep videos, and that worked fine. It did everything I wanted it to do. For the most part, I started getting into a little bit more of the production side of things, and I wanted something just a hair more professional, and so that's why I started using the free edition of the I think it's VCDS. If it's not, get a hold of me if that's not right. If it doesn't come up on Google, um, but yeah, I wanted something just a hair more professional where I could control the video compared to the audio just a little bit better, and so that's why I went to that. I was talking about the way they say it, hence the quote marks unseasoned. Oh yeah, I got you, Jared. So yeah, snooty people, stuck up people. I'm better than you people. They drive me nuts. I never feel that I'm better than anybody. I'm different. I don't know who gave me this quote when I was younger, but it's I am no better and no worse than the perfect me, and you are no better and no worse than the perfect you, and so our perfections together are going to be different, but you might have a little more skill at this, I might have a little more skill at that, and to get into the debate of seasoned, you need to do it this way. I hate it. They come to this channel and they make their comments on the videos, and they say their little things. I don't go on the Facebooking on the blacksmithing channels on Facebook much anymore, just because I was tired of dealing with those people. I don't know. This is such a fun hobby, and I'm making a few bucks, and I've considered going full time. I'm not there yet, but I mean it's so for now it's still just a hobby that I have to pay taxes on. um, but it does pay for itself. So I don't know. I don't want to get into arguing with these people. They do it for a living. I just said do. So hey, I've got no problem with them trying to lecture me, but I'm also not going to listen to it. I don't give them any class. So I quit going on the Facebook pages. Once in a while, you'll see me post, and if something comes up on my news feed, someone has a legitimate, hey, I'm beginning and I've got a question, I will do my best to answer it. Before the seasoned blacksmiths get in there and tell you to not even blacksmithing for beginners. I don't want to name them. The beginners there, I mean, they ask beginners questions and they get chewed out for it. And it's like, don't call it blacksmithing for beginners then. Call it blacksmithing for the seasoned guys who want to yell at you. I like doing videos on my channel. Can really care less about the haters. I recently did a build using the multi-high carbon steel and called it a Heinz 57. A lot of work by hand. We both need a press. Yes, I would love a press. I really like your channel, Jason. Always very informative, and I look forward to all your videos. It's hard forging for me as I'm disabled. Randy, well, thanks for being there, and thanks for watching, man. And I wish I had some advice. I've never even thought about how anyone who would struggle with any kind of disability would forge. But there's got to be someone out there who does it, who can help you, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you're missing an arm. There's got to be a way, right? Using a forge press, using a power hammer, I would think. So, yeah, don't give up hope. There might be a way to get you into it. Large banding strap works good for contrast. Large banding strap does. Test it though. I've gotten a bunch from the scrapyard, brought it home thinking, hey, I just found a whole bunch of 15N20. That'll be great. And nope, it was as mild as it comes. What do you use for a quench? I use canola oil right now. Just like propane versus coal, bituminous versus anthracite. I don't get into the debate of what quench is best. You can do the research, you can do the math. Using Parks 50 or something is probably better than canola oil. Canola oil is probably better than used motor oil. Used motor oil is better than nothing. So use what you have and go for it. If you're going to start selling your blades and getting money for them, whatever you use, test the blades. Make sure you're selling a quality blade. But to say that you can't get a quality quench in used motor oil, that's those seasoned guys again. And I say if you can figure it out and make it work, do it. And don't let them stop you. Jason Comley, tell the guy, thank you for your input. Now my draw. Yeah, I should. I figure I should clarify my statement. Okay. I don't know what statement we were using. I used a Sony Vegas Pro 14 to edit my videos. That's cool. I'll write on the camera. That'd be new. Cool. I've been looking for something better than Movie Maker. Yeah, check that out. There are a few free video editing software things, but that's the one I use. It's the VSDC, VSCD, something. Jason, I told you before I can get you lots of bandsaw blades. Contact me. I'll get you a bunch. Oh, awesome! Thank you, man. People tell me things. I'm bad with two things: names and remembering what people tell me. That's about everything, right? No, I have an awesome memory. It's just really short, except when it comes to quotes from movies. I can quote you every single line from Better Off Dead, from Spaceballs, from History of the World Part 1. I can quote you every single line from every Monty Python movie. I can't remember people's names or what they tell me to save my life. I'm late, dang it. No worries, Billy. Welcome to the party. I have had seasoned blacksmiths tell me anvils were hollow, LOL. Ed Greywolf. I'm guessing they weren't so seasoned then, were they? Although, I don't know, there might be some hollow anvils out there. I doubt they work really well, but maybe. I've been told that as well, Ed Greywolf. Really? So, I've seen a lot of these. There's that new anvil that has the aluminum base with the tool steel top or ductile iron steel top, and it's supposed to be lighter, a farrier's type thing. Here, take it with you. But it's got the aluminum base, and somehow they get the aluminum and the steel to stick together, or the iron to stick together. So, I don't know. Anvil technology is beyond me. The whole cast iron versus ductile iron, they're both cast and they're both iron. The science in that, I know ductile iron cast anvils these days are fantastic. Everything I've read. So anything, what's Centaur Forge? Is that the one where you can find like all the farriers anvils? They've got Emerson. They've got JCH, JHC, whatever it is. And you go and you read the reviews, and I think Emerson is a cast 4140 anvil, and then all the rest of them seem to be ductile iron, except for the Nimbas, which are still forged. But ductile iron seems to be the way all the anvil makers are going, because it seems to be a fantastic process to make an iron anvil that's hardenable, as opposed to the cast iron anvils, which are just divots waiting to happen in the surface. My dream anvil is an Ernest Relfenhaus. Is that one of those German ones, Martin? Like Joey Vandersteeg uses? Is that the kind he uses? My dream anvil is anything that will let me move the steel quickly and efficiently. See, there's another thing. I've never gotten into that whole debate of what has to be an anvil. What is the best anvil? I started on a hunk of railroad track in the driveway, and it worked just fine. I moved a lot of steel when I first started learning how to smith. I went to a 70-pound Vulcan anvil, which is a cast iron anvil it's a really thin. It's like a 1/8 of an inch tool steel top. And that was my second anvil that I picked up for like $35 from a local farmer. I put that one, if you watch any of my early forging videos, that's the one that walks around the garage. I mean, as I'm smacking it with the hammer, it walks itself out of frame, because I always thought to myself, I'm going to do something better with this. I'm going to build a better base. I'm going to mount it to the floor. I'm going to do something better. And I never did. I ended up, I gave that one. I traded it. I traded it for some rabbit cages for our rabbits to a guy just down the road in another town, just one over, who wanted to get into smithing. He had some rabbit cages. I had the anvil, and I try to help out where I can. Martin, you got it. I currently use a piece of Hardox 400 It's about 200 plus pounds. Yeah, see that works great. The only thing about an anvil that I think helped me was a getting a horn because I do a lot of hooks and bending and things, and then being able to have hardy tools. But there are workarounds for both of those. I mean, you can make a hardy hole out of a piece of square steel and weld it in. I mean, you can find a hardy tool holder if you want to use hardy tools with a railroad track. You could, and you can work around having no horn. You could shape a horn. You could do. I mean, there's plenty of workarounds for it. So, getting into the debate of what's best, what's not best, if it's a hunk of steel, or a rock, or whatever, and you can shape some hot steel on it, there's nothing wrong with that. And go for it. The Forged in Fire. You see people use railroad track anvils. I think they've had winners who have come back after the final challenge, after building whatever the final challenge was on railroad track anvils. Think of Rio. He was, I don't remember what his anvil was, but his forge was a cast iron pan that he stuck in the middle of a satellite dish so that he could pile more coal around it. Um, so to say he won the frickin' show, man. Come on. Why, don't let the haters get you. Whatever you're using, if you're using it, is great. It's perfect. Keep going. And then, if I will say that when I went from the railroad track to the Vulcan anvil, something in my head said, "Oh, now I've got a real anvil. Now I can call myself a real blacksmith." And so there was something in my head that was triggered by having the thing that was in the shape of what the coyote dropped on the Roadrunner, and that was great in my head. But in reality, since then, I mean, it's been a few years now. Since then, I've learned it doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. I still have that hunk of railroad track out there. Actually, it's what my post vise is mounted on under the table because the post wasn't quite long enough when I bought it, and I didn't feel like lengthening it. So the railroad track anvil worked perfectly to do that. And I've always figured if something happens, if my anvil cracks, if it breaks, if it gets stolen, whatever, I've always figured there's my backup. I've got it because it worked just fine. I'm going to get one from Harbor Freight Anvil and put a hard face on it till I can buy one, says Billy Martin. The only thing with the Harbor Freight ones is you do have to put that harder face on if you want it to last at all. I've never used one, but I've known people that have. And then you can watch Chandler's early videos. That was his first real anvil, was the Harbor Freight one. And you saw from video to video to video how fast it gets nicked up. The cast iron is so soft it gets divots, and that will transfer to your work. And that's the only reason you have to put that harder face on. So if you can do that and you can do it so it's safe and it works, hey man, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. And I've never been one to say don't use the Harbor Freight anvil. What are they? $50? And if that $50 can get you blacksmithing because you can't get your hands on anything else. Some people don't have access to a scrapyard where you can go get a big hunk of steel. They don't have access to a hunk of railroad track. I didn't. It was given to me. It was a gift from someone who used to work for the railroad company or something. But and the only reason I knew him is because I work on the radio and I was talking one day about wanting to take up blacksmithing, and he says, "Oh, I can help you out. I got a hunk of railroad track left." So cool. Martin says, had to cut a hole in it with a torch and had a horn milled by a friend that I still need to weld on. See, there you go. There's always workarounds. You can turn anything into an anvil. What's your favorite thing to make? Asked Charles. I love making the Damascus knives just because it's like Christmas morning. When you pull it out of the etch and you see what pattern came out of it, it's like Christmas morning every single time. I love those. Excuse me. The other thing that I really like making is when I can find a way to incorporate wood, like old wood, and the blacksmithing. So I do a lot of like coat hook, the things that hang on the wall that have the hooks, and I'll just find an old reclaimed piece of wood and forge the hooks up. And I love doing stuff like that, or making an old box. out of reclaimed wood. I did that for my daughter for Christmas. I built her a cedar box, did that fractal burning thing on the box, and then I forged up the handles and forged up the nails to go around it as trim. And um, I love doing stuff like that too. I'm not a wood guy, but I do sort of like this behind me. That's a door that's going to get hung up in my house that I made out of old pallets. You can see that. Haven't hung it yet, but I made it. So I love doing stuff with wood. Now, now that I've taken up blacksmithing, I made this. Yeah, I haven't hung it. I made it about 4.5 years ago, and it's still sitting here in the basement. But if I was gonna make it now, I'd add something blacksmithing wise because I love that look of adding wood and steel together. Billy Martin, you may be better off getting a large piece of stock from a local machine shop's scrap bin. Yeah, like I say, anything. I'm not going to tell you don't get the Harbor Freight anvil because a lot of people have started on it, and without it, there'd be fewer Smiths in the world. So there are better things, obviously, but if that's all you can get, I'm not going to say don't get it. If you got the $50 and you want to spend it, and it'll get you out there smashing some hot steel, go for it. Billy Martin, you in Michigan? I don't know. Are you in Michigan, Billy Martin? My railroad track anvil has a horn and a hardy hole cut out. My blacksmith teacher gave it to me. That's awesome on him. Yeah, any way you can do that, get that done. I never shaped my railroad track. I tried. They are hard, and my angle grinder just kind of went nope. So I never did it. I just used it as a flat. It was flat on both ends. Um, it was, I think it was like a repair section because it was perfectly flat. It was milled on both ends. It was never cut out of a hunk of railroad track. So I think that's why this guy wound up with it. Like I say, I think he was the guy who went out and repaired the railroad tracks. So, so he just wound up with a bunch of stuff. But I never did anything beyond just putting it in the driveway and smacking steel on it. John Coffey, welcome, my friend. Martin, if you're ever in Michigan, I have a few huge chunks of hard ox you could pick through and have it for free if you like. Well, that is very nice of you. See, we got cool people that hang out here. I love that. We will be headed up that way to see some of my wife's family, so I may just take you up on that. That's awesome. So, yeah, if you ever get up around Traverse City, anybody, get a hold of me. We'll go out and have a beer, or if you don't drink, we'll go out and have a soda, whatever. Alrighty. 17 of you watching me. That's really cool. I host a morning show on a radio station. It's actually the highest rated show in northern Michigan. And so every morning I've got X amount of people listening to me. And there's 15 people now watching me live on YouTube. And that is so much cooler than the radio show. And I don't know why it is, but it is. So, cool. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Random thought. Could a Kingo jackhammer be used to improve as a improved power hammer? Someone smarter is going to have to answer that one. I have never used. I probably could have used Dave's power hammer when we were doing that little thing, or I could probably go over to his house and talk him into letting me use it. But it's kind of like, I don't have one. I don't want to use one, and then be wishing I had one every single day after that. I will eventually get a forge press. That is one of the things I would like to do. The only reason I haven't really pursued it more seriously before, A, it's a little cost prohibitive, but B, I do not have 220 out in my garage, which is where my current forge is. And I could run it myself, except my panel, I'm down in the basement, and my circuit panel's right here. My garage is on the opposite side of the house, so it would be a long run of cable, and I just haven't gotten in. I'm not super confident when it comes to electricity. I've done it. I've wired up the bathroom down here, and I mean I've done it. I know how it works. I know the basics. I know the theory behind running the 220 out to the garage. I just haven't done it. So that leads to the forge press that I think Pile is how you say it. Pile, maybe Peel. Tools sells it. I found this. I found this 120 volt or 110 volt forge press made by some guys in, I want to say, Indiana or something. A couple years ago, and I've been watching it. And now the Pile Tools or Peel Tools sell it for them. But it runs on 110 volts, and it looks like it works pretty well. And you can always upgrade it if you want. If I ever run 220 out there, I could put a stronger motor on it for the hydraulic pump. But yeah. All right. Missed a lot, didn't I? Asked John Coffey. Sure, you missed everything up till the point where you got in. But no worries. You have a radio voice, Ed Grey Wolf. Well, thank you. I've worked hard to get one. 28 years in the business. Right in southern Michigan, south of Detroit. You can message me on my YouTube channel if you decide on it. Oh, they're talking within themselves. I'm only a couple hours south of Michigan. So, John, how cold is it where you are today? It was like way too cold. I tried to go out and forge a little bit this afternoon. And man, it was just cold. It was cold. Look up air over under bottle jack press. Is that the kind that Peapody One uses? Are you familiar with his channel? He has, it's a forge press that he added like an air compressor to, and you can hear it as he's using it. So, minus 11 in my shop this morning. Holy smokes, that's cold too. So, yeah. So it's one of those, I don't want to put any money into a forge press that I could maybe make work okay when for $3,500, $4,000 I could save up and get one that I know will work and work well. And it's just sort of been, do I want to spend a few $100s? Because I don't have a shop press out there now that I could easily do it. So I'd either have to go buy one. Again, you could do it from Harbor Freight, or I'd have to go to the scrapyard, get the steel to build the frame and put it all together, and then add the air over. And, you know, you could do it affordably, but it's one of those, do I want to take the time and put any money into it? It costs $200. Yeah, I'll bet you could if you were smart on how you did it. Do I want to spend that $200 though on something that I don't need it right now? I'm not at the age, my body hasn't deteriorated to the point where I'm thinking I better get one or I'm not going to be able to do what I like doing anymore. So I think I've still got some time to save up and get the one I want. I don't know. You make some interesting points there, Ed Grey Wolf, so I may have to look a little bit. Who had one? Peapody One. Peapody One is a blacksmith. He's over in England, and I think you can go look up any of his Damascus videos, and he'll be using it in that one. Why not make one out of an electric or gas wood splitter? You could. I've seen them. I've seen them work well, especially the gas ones. And I could if I had a wood splitter. Up here, wood splitters are pretty pricey, even the used one. I mean, a new one, you're talking, I might as well save up and get a forge press if I'm going to save up for that. And used ones up here are usually used up. They're junk. Everybody up here that has one uses it a lot. I mean, it's northern flippin' Michigan. We go through a lot of wood up here. Big Dog Forge, Tim, how you doing, my friend? Everybody knows Tim. That's cool. You got Jason. He's got the one we're talking about. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and Tim may actually, maybe next time Tim does a live Q&A, if you're not on Big Dog Forge, go subscribe to his channel, because I know Tim has, well, you've got a power hammer, but I think you've got a press too, don't you, Tim, if I'm not mistaken? Got one from Harbor Freight right now. It's not the best, but it's something. I don't diss Harbor Freight, man. I can't say I love Harbor Freight, but if you need a tool and you don't have a ton of money, Harbor Freight, will be a lifesaver. I started this channel fixing up old Jeeps, and if you go look in my toolbox right now, it is full of Harbor Freight tools. Lifetime warranty, baby. I've had to use it. I mean, they do break, but yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about Harbor Freight. If you shop them smart, get the extended warranty. The motor, the 1 horsepower motor on my belt grinder, is a Harbor Freight motor. It was affordable and powerful enough, and I bought the 2-year extended warranty to go with it, and here we are. We're on like the 2-year anniversary, and I haven't needed it, so now it's probably going to break, and I'm going to have to go buy a new one. Would love to stay. Gotta go. Thanks for answering my questions. All right, Autumn. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. Hey, there he is. Peapoddy One. Hey, Jason. How's it going, bud? We were just talking about your forge press there, my friend. It's going great, by the way. But we were just talking about forge presses and how you did yours with the air cylinder thing. So it's cool that you stopped by. Billy Martin, yeah, I will look up Martin when we head that way. Okay, cool. They're still talking among themselves. Big dog, that is correct. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know, Tim, if you ever get into, I know I saw a video where you were talking about your hammer. I don't know if you ever did a video where you were talking about your forge press. All the same faces from earlier. I know, it's like a little family reunion on the YouTubes. Lots of haze, lots of haze. Holy smokes, we've been going at this 51 minutes. Yes, easy to build, mate, slow, but moves metal faster than hammer. So, that's the key, isn't it? Is, moving the metal faster, and then as you start getting to that point where you can't swing the hammer quite as efficiently, or don't want to swing the hammer quite as efficiently, you might not have any choices. And then you can move a lot bigger billets than I can. I mean, if you ever watch my Damascus videos, you see I have to do everything in smaller billets to make it efficient. You know, I'll start with a 5-layer billet, fold it, stretch it out, and then, you know, it's down to 1/8 of an inch, but 65 layers, and then I'll put 3 of those together, and that's what gets me my knife at, you know, a couple hundred layers. But it'd be great to be able to just do it all at once, right? So yeah, Peapoddy One on YouTube. Go find his channel, especially the guys into the knives. Big Dog Forge. Well, everybody kind of knows everybody, and there's only 16 people watching right now, so it's probably not. You probably all know who to go see. But yeah, go back and watch my last video where I put links into everybody. I've signed up. I've subscribed to a few more since then. I guess I could go update that, right? Less loss to scale. Great point. Yeah, and that's what it all comes down to, is how fast can you move that steel. The faster you can move it, the less you're going to lose to forge scale, and that's the whole key, right? To do it efficiently, anyways. But I mean, that's also why. I mean, some of my Damascus knives, I really should, if you add all the hours up that it took to put the Damascus together, into the sanding. A lot of times I'll take it to a certain level on the belt sander and then finish it with hand sanding. And you know, you add all those hours up, and I should be charging $3,000-$4,000 for those knives. You can't, you know. I can charge $250 for that knife, but it was so much fun to make. I don't mind, you know. I still do it. And again, if I was doing this for a living, I would have much better equipment, right? So that might be part of what's holding me back. Whoever asked me earlier if I'm ever doing this full time. I'm in the middle of designing one using parts from a dump bed and some channel. Awesome. If you've got the skills, man, that is awesome. I wish I knew. The hydraulics is what scares me. Putting the frame together, welding that all up, I could do that. It's the hydraulics that I know nothing about, which, I mean, even going, everybody says, you guys that know hydraulics, just say, oh, well, all you need is this, that, and that, and that. And then you go to I've been to the pages where you order the stuff, and there's 47 different hydraulic rams. Each one does a different thing, and the motors you need for it, and this, that, and it's like, I don't know it, and I don't want to know. That's the other thing is I don't want to learn. I've had to learn. I've had to learn video editing. I've had to learn, this, that, and everything else. I had to learn how to weld to start working on my Jeeps. I had to learn how to start working on my Jeeps to start working on my Jeeps. I mean, at this point, it's like I don't want to learn anything else. I'll just go buy one. I'll save up and I will go buy one at some point. Got one bar of Damascus I made, and I'm afraid to do anything with it, says John Coffey. Don't be afraid, man. Do it. Here's what happens. You screw it up, make another one. More practice. If you don't screw it up, hey, you got something cool at the end of it. If you're scared to use it to make a knife, do something else. Do a piece of jewelry. Do a pendant. Do something. But yeah, don't be scared of it, man. Don't let fear intimidate you. Go do it. And if you you know how many knives I don't have any here, but I mean, I don't keep them, but I mean I've got a few lying around, knives I've cracked because I thought this, that, or the other thing. I thought I can figure out how to do an interrupted water quench and get this steel super hard. Crack. Nope, I can't. Throw that one in the scrap pile. I mean, I've got there. Don't be scared of making mistakes, man. Just go do it. And then if you make the mistake, do it again, and I promise you, you will do it better the second time. How to make a small fortune as a blacksmith. Start with a large one. Amen. John Coffey sent me a link. Yeah. You guys can take care of that. I can only hold 5-pound max with my right hand. Yeah. So there you go. You gotta figure out how to make it work for you. Now here's the thing. If you're a right-handed, if you use your right hand as a hammer, proper hammer technique, you can move a lot of steel with a really light hammer. I mean, I use that 2-pound hammer that Dave made for a ton of my videos. The last, I don't know, year and a half since I bought that from him. I mean, that's pretty much been my go-to hammer. I've made a lot of things with that lighter hammer, and proper technique where you don't need to. I've never done a hammering technique video, but they're out there. And if you do it right, I mean, you're not jarring. You're not gonna, you're not gonna screw yourself up, basically. Which I did. I will tell you that, guys. I still can't. That's as much as I can bend that finger, because when I first started blacksmithing, I was hammering wrong. I was holding the hammer wrong. I was using the wrong technique, and I did something to this finger. To this day, I can't close it beyond that. If I ever punch somebody, I've got to punch with that hand, because I can't make a fist with that hand anymore. All from improper hammering. So, all you newbies, learn the proper technique. There's plenty of videos out there. I should have paid more attention to them. Have you thought about making a screw press? Yeah, that's one of them that has the big thing, and you do the thing. Those look awesome. I've dreamed about it. I've never really looked into it, but those look really sweet. I think technique moves steel better than brute force. I soon learned that. Amen. Yeah. The proper technique will go a long way, and it won't screw up your hand. I'm right-handed. That's why I designed a press to do the heavy work. Awesome. Shepard Ford, don't have a YouTube channel. Instagram. All right. John, after this video goes live, or, after we're done here, I think all the comments disappear. So if you could come back and comment again on your Instagram. Anybody is more than welcome to promote whatever you want to promote on my channels. If you are a blacksmith and you've got another YouTube channel, and I've got more subscribers than you, if I've got less subscribers than you, promote yourself on my channel. This is a community that I'm proud to be a part of. The more people I meet from it, the more I get involved with the YouTube Smiths, the happier I am, the better I feel about what I'm doing. So, yeah, come on my channel. Pimp yourself. I do my best. That last video I did my best to pimp who I watch. And I will be glad to keep doing that, and you can do it yourself. So, yeah, John, come back and after it's up there, after it does all its processing thing, put that in the comments if you want, or go to any of my videos and put it in the comments. and let people find you. That's what it's all about. You're a good man. Well, so are you, Tim. I mean, come on, we're all in this together, right? It's all that's this little contest. If you haven't heard about that, Peapody won, and Tim and a couple of the other guys I've been watching. Or we're all doing this little 6-hour knife build kind of contest kind of thing, and I mean, it's all for fun. It's all to be able at the end of it to say, "Hey, look what I built, and I built it better than you." And then we'll go on and we'll do it again, and then they get to say, "Hey, look, I built this one better than." And it's for fun, and I mean, sure, it's a tongue-in-cheek competition, but I mean, that's what this is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun doing this, then why are you doing it? And I get it for the people that are doing it for a living. Yeah, you gotta take it seriously, but. Hell, I have fun every morning when I go in to my radio station gig. I love my job. I love making people laugh. I look forward to it every day. And so when you can do something that you love to do, you're not going to be working. You're just going to be having fun. So find a way to have fun, man. That's what it's all about. Cool. I have a new channel. I could use the support. Yeah, pimp it out, man. Come on, you're more than welcome. Come and make the comments and say, hey, come and watch my channel. Everybody, go subscribe to. Well, is it your Martin and Shan Moldovan? Is that what it is, or do you have one other? So I don't even know, Martin, and I apologize for not knowing. Ed Gray Wolf live 15 minutes from Big Dog. Oh, cool. That would be awesome. If I lived, I wish I lived closer. I live close to Dave McConnell, who never has time to do videos. I mean, the guy, Dave McConnell works for a living, and then he comes home and blacksmiths for a living. He is that close to going full time. He's just scared to make that leap. So, I mean, he's basically working 2 full-time jobs. So he never has time to do anything. But when he does put out a video, it's always great content. I don't know how to approach him to say, hey, work on your lighting in your shop and camera angles and stuff, but we'll get there. I'll figure out a way to approach him with that. Peapody One, love your work and your channel as well. Yep, absolutely. So we've been going over an hour. Holy smokes, I didn't realize we've been chatting that long. So why don't we wrap it up? Do you guys want to do this every so often? Once a week? Once a month? I don't know. I know Big Dog does it. You do it pretty regularly. Who else does the live ones? I can't think off the top of my head. But there's a lot of Smiths doing it regularly. I would be happy to if it helped you out. I also want to try. I don't know how it's going to work because, as I mentioned on the last test I did, I've got to use my phone. So all this is on my phone, not my regular camera. And so I don't know how to make it really flow smoothly with the live smithing. But I'm going to try and work on that. I actually picked up a little tripod today, and that's what the camera's sitting on. And so, and the fact that I've got the camera tilted right this time so there's no black bars down the side, I think that looks better. So we could plan on doing it, on a regular once a week kind of thing. So would love to do a joint podcast with some of us. Yeah, that would be awesome. See, I don't know how it all works, Tim. Technology and me, I can barely make my phone work, period, let alone trying to do live video. That's why it's taken so long for me to to figure it out. Have you cleared the snow yet? Or is it still a perverse setting? I don't know what that word means. If you're talking to, who was talking about clearing snow? Shepherd's Forge. If you're talking to him, I don't know. If you're talking to me, no, I haven't been outside. It is flipping cold out around here today, and I'm not going out. I've been inside all day. Jason, question mark? Yes, Martin. I'd be up for that. Tim and Jason was thinking about it last week. Me too. I have kids that I know. Grab some neighbor kids. Yeah, I could grab my own kids. I've got teenagers. They could probably help me figure it out. Maybe. I'm up for it if you guys want to do it. I would love to. If there's a way to do it on my phone, because that's just it. I don't have an encoder or anything that I can plug my other camera into, and yada yada yada. I've got to use my phone. So um, if there's a way to do it on my phone to get in on a chat kind of thing like that, I would be absolutely more than happy to jump in on that. You guys know so much more than I do, so it would just be here, ask those guys a question, and I'll sit here quietly kind of chat, but that'd be cool. I'd love it. What is an encoder? That I have no idea. Not a clue. You got to plug your camera into something so that it takes the video and changes it to digital for the computer. Unless your camera already does it. See, my camera doesn't. Maybe I don't know. And I know the phone camera, I don't need to do that. But if I take my Sony, the one that I normally use for filming, I've got to take the output on that and plug it into a gizmo, and I don't have the gizmo. Even if I did have the gizmo, I don't know how to use the gizmo. So I don't know. All right, guys. I think we'll end it here. And OBS does it. Just plug camera in, mate. OBS. I don't know what OBS is. Search for OBS, Jason. I will search for OBS. So, Peapoddy 1. Let me ask you, do you like people just referring to you as Peapoddy 1, or should I call you Lawrence, or what the heck, man? Open broadcast software. Okay, I will look into it. And free software. All right. Horlaz. Okay. I will check it out, guys, and see. Again, it's my brain and technology. We don't always get along. I still don't even know how to use half the things on my phone. So thanks for the live stream. My pleasure, Martin. Happy to do it. I'm glad you guys like it. And who knows, maybe we'll keep growing this out for another week and see. But I'm going to go have some dinner, guys, and I will chat with you next time. The next knife build. Oh, someone asked me. I don't know if they're watching. There's only 18 people watching, but someone asked me to do a feather pattern Damascus, and that sounded like a real good challenge because the way you have to do a feather pattern, generally, you need to move quite a bit of steel. So I think it'll be fun to put that billet together and then figure out how to cut it and get that feather pattern going. So I've never done it, and I think it'll be fun, and that'll be the next Damascus video if anyone is curious. So anyways, who's next on live stream? I don't know. Who's next? Somebody jump up and mention who's the next one to do a live stream, and we'll all go party there later tonight. All right, Peapoddy 1. See ya, Tim. Good to see you, man. It's in my future. All right. Awesome. Davey, thank you. No, my pleasure, man. I'm glad you were here. So I'll talk to you guys next week. All right. Now I've got to figure out how to end the video. Maybe hitting this. If this works, I'll see you. Bye.